Hi, and welcome back to PMC Knives and Tools. Today we are looking at the Swiss+Tech 17-in-1 Multitool. This is a folding plier, Leatherman wave style clone type thing. Now, confession time here, I have actually owned this one before, and regrettably gave it away to a former colleague, and then it's one of those that I regretted giving away and ended up rebuying it recently, a couple of years after I gave it away. So it was my kind of go-to everyday use work knife as a tradesman for 6 months or so, about 2 or so years ago. So one that I'm intimately familiar with and missed a little bit. So I found it on AliExpress. They don't make this model anymore. The 17-in-1 and the Swiss+Techs that they're making now aren't the same as this one anymore. So I had to kind of look actively to find it and get this particular model that I want. So we'll start off with the welcome card here, which claims that they were founded in Ohio in 1994 and are, a historic brand and all this kind of stuff with Swiss heritage. I'll be honest, I don't believe any of that. They're made in China, they're sold on Chinese websites. I strongly believe that they've never been anywhere near Ohio or Switzerland. I could well be wrong. They do have a sort of a California address here. Who knows? I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they are a legitimate heritage American and Swiss company based in the US but manufactured in China, but I don't know. I just don't believe it. But anyway, so it's your typical kind of Leatherman wave style multi-tool, and the design on the scales is a little reminiscent of the Leatherman Free series. So let's have a look at that. We'll put the box and the welcome cards aside and have a little look at the tools. Now, one thing I always liked about mine previously was the ease with which it unfolds. You can flick them open like a Leatherman Free, because they have very little detent resistance like that, which is quite satisfying and also quite handy if you're using it one-handed in a work type scenario. I like all the tools on this generally, with the probably notable exception of the diamond file. The diamond coating does tend to be rubbish. It's not coarse enough, it's very fine, and when you use it, it does tend to just remove all the abrasive and you end up just with a plain face. It does have a kind of a metal serration saw on the bottom and just an ordinary crosshatch file on the back, but again, their use is limited. Regular viewers of the channel will know that I'm not a huge fan of multi-tool files at the best of times, and that only Victorinox and Leatherman have ever, in my opinion, made a half decent file. And even then, they're not at all like a file. A file is a very specialised, hardened tool. So I don't expect a lot from multi-tool files other than to be able to use it primarily as a pry tool, this kind of action. So that doesn't particularly bother me. So I've got that out of the way early. All the tools are on the outside are liner locking. So depress this to close it. And all the main tools that you would use are externally accessible. The blade is very much reminiscent of the Leatherman Wave, although it has these little design grooves on it with the hollow grind. It does come sharp from the factory. Let's do a wee proof of concept here. There we go. Good and sharp from the factory. Actually, my previous one probably wasn't as sharp as this one from the factory, so there we go. Maybe they've improved that. You get a serrated blade on this side. I am not a huge lover of serrated blades, but I do appreciate that they serve a purpose for rough cuts and rope and nylon and fabric and stuff like that. And I do prefer that if there is going to be a serrated knife on a tool, that it be separate and not be one of those combo blades like we sometimes get, for example, on my Leatherman Skeletal. which I would show you for comparison, but it's currently at Whitby Knives in England getting warranty repaired because I managed to damage it. Well, it got damaged in use, shall we say, so it's in for warranty repair. Anyway, that's another story. The serrated blade is fine. It's a serrated blade. You're never going to use it a great deal, and you're never going to sharpen it much, because serrated blades, for the rarity that they do get used, they're doing a sort of a sawing, rough, pulling cuts. So it's fine as is. It's perfectly reasonable tool. It'll do its job. The saw on this is pretty good, I have to say. The teeth are very aggressive, very sharp, and really well laid out. So not like your typical crap budget Chinese multi-tools that, the unbranded ones that you get for £5 that are unable to saw. This thing's really good, and I've used it multiple times. I did on one occasion at work, not with this model again. This is the same model but a brand new one, with the one that I carried every day. This one just arrived today, but the same one that I carried every day a couple of years ago for 6 months at work as a builder doing property maintenance. I did cut CLS 3x2 and 2" off saw timber with it. And it will do it. It'll do it no problem. It's a perfectly good, if short, saw. The internal tools are accessed like usual with a plier-based multi-tool. Open them up. You've got a hardwire cutter here at the bottom, as you can see right in there. Soft wire cutter here, and then an ordinary, just needle nose combination plier. You do have a wire crimper at the base here as well. I've never used one, but I guess it's cool that it's there if that's the sort of thing people use. Bully for you. Anyway, and here we have the can opener, bottle opener combo. This one works well, and it has a wire stripper, which also works well for rounding off cable sheathing and then stripping it. So perfectly happy with that, perfectly usable and good and sharp as well. It will burst the caps on beer bottles when you're popping them, as the Leatherman ones do also, but that's fine. You're going to drink it anyway. You have a string cutter / small slotted screwdriver here. I never use the string cutters. I don't really get why they're a feature. I think it's just a desperate attempt by multi-tool manufacturers to squeeze more tools into the label. So I would never use that to cut string when there are 2 blades on the outside for a start, and there's a pair of scissors elsewhere, there's pliers elsewhere. So I don't know that I would ever use that for its intended purpose. I probably never use it at all, but I would use the little slotted screwdriver. I have done in the past, and it's fine. It won't stand up to mega abuse, but how often do you come across slotted screws in your day-to-day life? I don't come across them all that often, thankfully, because I hate them. Anyway, the scissors are here. They're exactly the same as those found on the Leatherman Wave, and they cut perfectly good. Let's prove that as well. There you go. Small, sharp, folded inside the handle of the tool, but they do their job. And all the tools internally, once they're out, they lock in place, and you release them with this little tab here. So fold those back in, and we'll move to the other plier leg, which contains the thing that I'm probably going to use most of the internal tools. That's an ordinary just slotted screwdriver there. It's this, and I really like this. I loved this the first time I owned this tool. It's a Phillips 2 squared 3D driver, which is great, but it also has a little micro Phillips which slots into it, so you can use them separately, like that. Great little micro Phillips. Ideal for adjusting the tension screws in PVC windows and doors and things like that. And then a full size, quite robust Phillips 2, which is phenomenal. And it doesn't get, the micro Phillips doesn't get in the way of the full size Phillips in use. They work perfectly together. It's a great little piece of design, that. Really like that. The novelty of it is great, as well as the functionality. And again, they just work with this little tab on the outside there. So that's all the tools, a fairly standard rundown. There's a couple of little differences from, your run-of-the-mill wave clones. The order in which the external tools are weighed out is different from the most of the Leatherman wave clones. It has the pocket clip, which is pretty stiff. That might break in a little bit just with use. And the string cutter, which I'll never use, and the fantastic little combination screwdrivers there. Other than that, it's pretty much what we've seen a lots of times. But what I like about this is it's really, I don't know how to describe this, because every tool experience is personal, but this one really works. It's at a price point where if you're using it, whether it be professionally or in your personal life, you're not going to worry too much if it gets, my old one was scuffed and scraped and had spots of rust because I never cleaned it, and the blade was chipped and had paint on the handles and stuff. So when I gave it away to a friend at work a couple of years ago, I wasn't too sad to see it go, but I did miss the feel of it, the functionality, the tactile grips, the tactile scales, which you don't get on lots of these other wave clones. And I do feel, for the price now, I paid about £25 for this. It does seem to have gone up in price. I do seem to remember paying about £15 for it a couple of years ago when I last originally bought it, and then used it substantially, used it significantly, and gave it away. But having noticed that they don't sell this version of the Swiss+Tech Multitool anymore anyway, I'm not really that surprised that it cost a bit more, because I had to go and find it. I had to actively search for this older version on AliExpress. So we'll do a little comparison here to some other multi-tools, shall we? There's the Victorinox Swisstool Plus. As you can see, the Swisstool Plus is longer. The Swisstool Plus is, what's that, 2 centimetres taller. So there you go. Let's check the length of the blade. I checked this earlier and I'm sure it's 75mm, which is 3 inches if I'm not mistaken. There you go, 75mm, 7.5 centimetres, otherwise known as 3 inches. So that's the blade length. Let's see it in comparison to the Leatherman Bond, shall we? Same height, although the Leatherman Bond is thinner and substantially lighter. The weight, let's see, it's quite a heavy multi-tool this. Let's see the weight here. Okay, the weight is 281 grams. 280 grams, there you go. So it's quite a chunky tool, quite a significant weight to it. Here's a Leatherman Wingman for comparison. Wingman's slightly shorter, it's slightly thinner. Leatherman Wingman is also lighter. The Leatherman Bond is much lighter. And the Victorinox Swisstool Plus, believe it or not, they're about the same weight, despite the Swisstool Plus having more tools and being physically taller. So there you go. And the Swisstool Plus, for those long time listeners will know, is my favourite multi-tool of all brands, of any brand currently on the market. I think it's the best made multi-tool money can buy. So the Swiss+Tech is chunky, it's weighty. You will know you've got it in your hand, you will know you've got it in your pocket. You can wear it on a belt clip. It doesn't. You can wear it in a belt pouch. It doesn't come with one, but it does fit in them. Any generic nylon belt pouch will hold it, and that'll be fine. I usually just throw it in my work trousers with the pocket clip holding it in place. But either's fine. It'll do what you want it to do. You won't care too much if it gets dings and chips and scratches and scrapes and dropped and stuff like that, because it's of a reasonable price point, but it's got really good ergonomics. It feels excellent in the hand. It's a multi-tool that, in a sea of wave clones, doesn't reinvent the wheel, but it does fit the hand and the function very comfortably. And it's one that I have to say, and the pliers, for example, a lot of these don't have very wide opening plier heads. This one does. A lot of these generic kind of wave style, wave clone multi-tools are much of a muchness. They're very similar. This one stands out a little bit in its comfort in hand, with the rolled edges, the matte finish, and the textured scales. It's a really nice one to use and hold, I have to say, and it's one that I'm glad I rebought, because I did regret giving it away. The pliers are not sprung, they're just ordinary pliers, so they're not like the Leatherman Wingman pliers, which are sprung. You may notice on my Wingman I have a replacement plain-edged drop point blade, which is UK legal EDC non-locking modded, which I did recently. There was a short about it, have a look if you haven't already. So yeah, that's pretty much the story of the Swiss+Tech 17-in-1, my thoughts on it, my feelings about it, and my previous use of it. So this one arrived again today, having the job of replacing the one that I previously gave away. It's one that I won't be giving away a second time, because sometimes we make little decisions in life and the spur of the moment, and later we come to think maybe that wasn't the right one. So I bought it again. I don't like buying things 3 times, so I won't be giving it away a second time. Just for anyone who's listened this far to my rambling nonsense, there is a competition running right now on my channel. I'm doing a giveaway of a sailor's knife with a Marlin spike, and just a generic kind of folding plier multi-tool. If you want to enter, go to my channel, click on one of the shorts. There are 2 shorts running which describe the giveaway. Like, comment, subscribe, all the usual stuff, and yeah, get your name entered into the draw. The draw runs until the Sunday the 18th of August, so yeah, get your name in the hat if you want to win them. If I decide I'm in the mood, I might even throw a couple of other bits and pieces into the giveaway bundle. Not this, because I'm keeping this, but yeah, feel free to like and subscribe to the channel, and everyone take care, have a great day.